Neil from Essex here today to walk you around these 4 LX series tractors. 4 tractors, all out of the same family of machines, going out to retail customers that are set up very differently from one to the next. Today we're going to look at this group of tractors and look at the configuration and accessories that each customer chose based upon the applications that they're going to be doing with these machines. So come along with me here today. You might find some interesting differences between these machines, especially if you're in the process of shopping for one.
Essex, a helping hand with your land.
3 of these tractors are going out with loaders on, and every loader tractor in this case is going out with a set of R14s. An R14 or an R4 style tire is by far the most popular on a tractor that's going to be doing ground engaging work like this. Now, if you look here though, we have 2 sets of R14s and one is actually larger than the other. The LX series tractor has a tire option to be able to have an R14 that's 2 inches taller than what the other one is. Now those 2 inches have some pros and cons. It's going to fill that gap here in the fender. I think it looks a little nicer. It sits a little bit higher up off the ground. It's got a nice larger front tire too, giving you a little bit more clearance underneath the tractor. But when you go with these larger tires, it does impact the steering radius of the tractor. That larger front tire requires us to put some steering stops in there that don't allow the tractor to turn quite as tightly. We have one common option here between both of our cab tractors, that the owners both opted for a set of wheel spacers. That moves the tires out an extra 1 3/8 on the rear, giving you a little bit more rear stability, which is really smart if you're going to be operating one of these cab tractors on any kind of hillside. The glass of the cab moves up the center of gravity of the tractor, so by putting these spacers on and moving the wheels out a little bit more, you return that stability to the machine. I have them on my own tractor and can attest to the huge difference. You wouldn't think an 1 3/8 is going to do a whole lot, but it really makes a big difference in how planted your machine feels, especially when traveling around with a load in your front bucket. Contrast our tractors going out here with loaders to this one here that's not getting one and is going out with just a mower deck underneath of it, presumably for mowing chores, which is going to call for a different tire, right? So you have a large set of deep lug turf tires on. These tires are loved by most of the people that have them for their gentleness on turf, but also a surprising amount of traction that you can get from these deep square turf lugs. Particularly in the snow, a lot of people tend to really like it. Even though our minds don't go towards a turf style tire for traction, this one actually still does pretty well. 2 of our tractors here are equipped with mid-mount mowers. You're going to see this one open station machine here with the loader and this cab tractor that's going to give the operator a nice air-conditioned place to sit and run this mower deck. Now these are going to be available in either 60 or 72-inch variants. There are small differences in the part number that's used between the 2620 and the 3520 and 4020 series tractors. Those small differences are only 8 bolts. It is basically the same mower deck, so don't be fooled into thinking it's something wildly different. One thing that I really appreciate on this mower deck, this is an older deck design that's been around for a while, is the heft of these scalp wheels that are on here. This is not a deck that hangs from the tractor. It actually rides on the ground. When you lower it down, these wheels are made to contact the ground and set the height for that deck. So you're going to see big heavy wheels with big greasable zerks on them, a lot of lubrication, and the deck is going to track across the ground really well because it's not hanging from the tractor relying on this long wheelbase. These wheels give you a really nice clean cut as you're going up and over swales. So it's a deck that I always have been very, very happy with, and 2 72-inch ones going out on these tractors. If this gentleman's going to be out doing a lot of mowing with this tractor, he's buying a mower deck after all, it's usually best to try to remove your loader from your tractor when you're mowing. It takes about 500-600 pounds off of those front tires. It allows you to steer a lot easier, shortens the tractor up by several feet. It's a much better scenario than trying to mow with your loader hanging off the front of your machine. This gentleman opted for the Swift Attach kit that makes taking that loader on and off really easily. You can actually sit up here in the seat and by manipulating the correct levers, remove the loader from the tractor without getting off the seat. Now, my favorite part of this package is this right here, where you can lift this one lever and disconnect all 4 of your hydraulic lines at one time and put them back on again just as easily. So an optional kit that can go onto any of these loaders, but makes a lot of sense on a tractor equipped with a mid-mount mower. You'll notice here the tractor on your right has a little bit of tint here on the windows compared to the factory one over here on the left. Tint is sometimes found on tractors that are down in the southern states or down in Texas to help the tractor's air conditioning keep up with that bright, intense sun. It's not something that we see a whole lot of up here in Pennsylvania, but this particular customer is going to be using his tractor out in a field for hours upon hours and just would like to have that little bit of extra sun glare taken off. So not a factory option, we'll call this one a Messick's custom shop job, but going through and putting tint on tractors happens more and more all the time. We see it being a more common option. You'll notice that both of our high horsepower cab tractors here are equipped with rear remotes. Now, rear remotes become more popular the bigger a machine gets because they have more functionality on the kinds of implements that are used on these machines. Both of these customers have a fleet of implements at their places. I would suspect more than likely they're going to have some things that are going to plug in here. I also know that this gentleman has used top and tilt kits before, where you're going to be able to have a hydraulic top link and a hydraulic side link, making grading operations behind the tractor vastly easier. And it's also great in a cab machine to be able to simply stroke hydraulic levers in order to operate functions that are a little harder to get to, right? It's a little bit more effort to jump in and out of a cab than it is on an open station tractor, and so these things have an added bit of convenience here on a cab equipped machine. Now back on our loader tractors, we've got 3 loaders, 2 third function kits on these tractors, and that's actually pretty reflective of what we see anymore. More and more we see customers opting to put hydraulics out on that front loader to be able to operate anything with a simple cylinder on it. You know, think things like blades, post augers, and most commonly a grapple that's going to be able to allow you to pinch that wood, pick up the logs and stuff, and be able to move things around. This customer is particularly smart in that if he's going to put a grapple on the front here with these couplers in order to operate it, very frequently we see brushes and that kind of stuff pushed back into the hood of the tractor, breaking the grills and busting up the headlights. And so an investment in a brush guard like this is really smart on that third function equipped tractor that's going to have a grapple. 4 unique setups that are specific to what their owners are going to be doing with their machines. It's important when you're looking at tractors that you understand that this is part of our job, right? Is not just selling a model number, selling something that you think, I need 30 horsepower in my backyard. It's going through and taking one of these machines, picking out the right accessories, the right implements, the right configurations to make sure that you have the greatest satisfaction from a tractor investment. It's what we do here as salespeople. It's what we do here at Messick's. If you've seen any of this kind of stuff, third function kits and wheel spacers and all that, to add onto your machine to make it better for operating around your property, we've got all this stuff sitting here on this shelf, and we're more than happy to help if you're shopping for a new machine or if you need to upgrade the one that you've already got. We're available at 800-222-3373 or check out our website at messicks.com.